Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. It is a warm one today. I mean, we're just boiling, melting, hottest day I've ever experienced in my life. Not really. It's 96, 97 degrees. Heat index is 105, 106. So it's plenty warm. Been out mowing all day. But according to all of these experts, these people that are in charge, you know, the bosses, the ringleaders, the globalists, that we're dying, and we just don't know it yet. According to the United Nations chief, that we are beyond global warming, and now we are into global boiling. That's his exact words. CNN is reporting that most all scientists agree that this year is the hottest year that the Earth has experienced in about 121,000 years. All kinds of stuff being talked about, temperatures radically changing, ocean temperatures 100+ degrees, all kinds of stuff. Interesting, because most of the feedback I get from you folks is either that it's abnormally cool we're at, or it's just a normal average summer. And yeah, I mean, this month for us has been cooler than normal, and last month was a little warmer than normal. But you know, that's how things go. I keep telling you folks, and you need to be gearing up for this. I feel pretty good. It's not a promise, it's not a prediction or a guarantee, but I feel pretty good about them pulling a climate emergency pandemic on us. And I think they're really setting everything up. We're seeing a lot of things, you know, kind of directing us that way. They've already got the fear and the panic going on with people constantly bombarding the news. They've even got the nurses out there dancing about climate change. There's also talk about how many people are going to starve to death, how many people will perish in the heat, on and on and on. The narrative is being built, but there's a lot of other narratives being built too, you know. That we're all gonna, we're not gonna have any food, which may be a very real possibility. You're familiar with India's rice ban. Didn't ban all of the export of rice, but they banned a lot of it. And India is the world's largest supplier of rice. That's causing some problems. Several states have reported panic buying. Prices in the United States, not everywhere, so don't jump on here and call me a liar, because it hasn't happened here. In fact, it's only been reported in about 7 or 8 states that rice prices jumped from $16 for a big 20-pound bag up to somewhere close to $45 to $50 in places. A lot of places are putting a 1-bag limit on rice because people are panic buying it. Yes, I know that rice is also grown here in the United States, but the big bulk of it, the huge bulk of it, comes from India and China. And China's not exporting a lot of theirs because their rice, they're having problems there because of mass flooding in certain areas. I'm sure it's all controlled weather. I'd say, they have the ability to ionize the atmosphere and cause all the rain to congregate in one area, so it's massive flooding here, and all the rain stays away from this area, and there's massive drought there. It's a way, this geoengineering stuff that they do, and it's happening. Wheat prices are going up. The availability of it's probably going to be affected. I don't think that the average person watching, the average American, is probably going to experience like starvation level. I mean, it's possible. Things could transpire. And oh, here she comes, the dog. Things could happen that could cause that level of famine of food. I think what we're going to see is your developing world nations are going to really become desperate when it comes to food. We're talking already almost 30% of the globe's population is at starvation level. And so with the wheat and the rice problems that we're having, we could see well over 30% of the planet, which could probably cause the planet's population to, reduce down. But here in America, folks that are on the kind of the bottom tier, the very poor, they could certainly experience problems in having to choose whether to pay their electric bill or their grocery bill or their rent bill. Don't worry, she gets lots and lots of water, We have water bowls, fresh water. In fact, I make the kids, when it's hot like this, change their water out 2 or 3 times a day. She just really likes this creek water. Everyone seems to be concerned that my dog is dying of thirst. No, she's a pup. She's crazy. Anyways, it's going to affect things. It is. It's all part of their Agenda 2030 plan. It's, my goodness, it's been written about for years now. And so many people are still asleep to it. I still see the comments on here, the people that, oh, it's not that bad. I mean, you've been telling for years, for the last 3 years, that things are going to get bad, and they haven't. Have you been asleep for 3 years? Did you forget that's like 60% of all the private, mom and pop businesses in America shut down permanently because of the whole health crisis stuff? You forget all the people that's been injured and that people have gotten sick and even perished because of things that they were compelled to put inside of them. Have you forgotten about the trillions and trillions of dollars more in debt and the war and the fact that we've depleted a large bulk of our munitions as a military? I mean, I could just go on and on and on. So don't get on the comments. I mean, if you feel that way, I guess it's free speech for the most part, but don't think you're going to try to convince me or most anyone else by saying, oh, nothing's happened in the last 3 years. Why are you acting this way? Things are happening, and I think we're getting pretty close to things happening in a very severe way. I have a personal friend of mine that works for a bank, and I'm not saying that this is happening banking wide in every bank. But a personal friend of mine works at a bank and told me that the day after the Federal Reserve started their Fed Now program, which was just a few days back, that their bank came to all the employees and offered them the opportunity to switch their regular banking account over to a digital Fed Now account. They said that they're only doing it now for employees. It's just optional, and it's kind of a pilot run. They're not offering it to the public yet. Point is, folks, is that's getting really into CBDC stuff. I mean, yes, you could, it's technically at this point, you could still withdraw money from that account into currency, but that could very easily change. Your account now would be a direct Federal Reserve banking account run through the Fed Now, which is their system, their transfer system. That is the basis of their controlled digital money. This is all happening right now as we speak. We're not talking about what ifs. I'm not telling you what might happen. I'm not telling you all these possible conspiracies that might go on in the future. We're talking about things that's happening right now, folks. It's happening right now. The Federal Reserve is enacting a new policy on banks that the small banks are going to have to comply with, that the big banks aren't. The big banks will be protected and the small banks won't, and they're just going to get gobbled up. That's all that's going to happen. We're watching our country go into debt at an astonishing rate, like a couple of $1 trillion a year now. That's the rate that we're at, and as we just keep growing and growing, it's gonna blow your mind. I mean, they're talking about the likelihood of going into somewhere between 20 plus trillion dollars, 20 to 25 trillion dollars in debt just in the next 6 or 7 years. I mean, do the math. That's a lot. That's debt. So how much money are we going to be spending? We spend the money we have, and then we go into debt an additional 2 to 3 trillion a year. We still have tons and tons of people coming across the border, and nothing's being done about it. Nothing's going to be done about it. And most of the ones that's come across the border that have been stopped and have been given a court date that they have to show up for, they don't end up showing up for it. Big surprise there. We have infrastructure that's seemingly strangely getting blown up and catching on fire and falling apart, and multiple plane crashes. Even down in Brazil, just yesterday or the day before, there was a grain drying facility where they bring in grain, wheat, and they dry it and put it in a silo, exploded. Very possible that it was accidental. But when we're seeing lots of these things, train derailments, all this kind of stuff happen at a pretty high rate, you have to start to wonder, at what point have we transitioned from just coincidental to an overt attack on us? Because in the end, it's an attack on you, because you're the one they want to control. They control well, their people, you know, the elites, they're all in on this. And then there's the far left. The far left that is just their lapdogs for the globalist, and they're going to do whatever they're told. The people in the middle, they're tired of it, and they don't care, and they just want to pretend like there's a normal life left to live out there. And so they're probably going to comply with whatever they're told when they're told to put a mask back on or to stay in their home because it's too hot. That will use a lot less electricity if we all just stay home and don't go to restaurants and businesses and malls and things like that. That's the middle part of the population. It's the far, well, I don't care if you call it right or whatever, but the ones that are awake, the ones that are resistant, the ones that still believe in this concept of personal liberty, the ones that still believe that government should not rule over them. Those are the people that they're trying to control. They're trying to control you. They're trying to restrict your rights. They want to take your guns away. They want to restrict what you can eat. They want to take your homes away, your wealth. They want to control what your children learn, how they think. This is happening. This isn't going to happen. This isn't a possible thing that could happen in the future. This is happening right now, folks. So if you're one of those that thinks that this kind of stuff's crazy, I don't know why you're even watching this show. I mean, if you're just watching for a laugh, hey, at least I'm making somebody happy. But I know that most of you understand that things are worsening at a pretty rapid rate. And it's far too long if you've been kind of sitting on the sidelines now. You're way into the game now. It's time to kind of get serious and get ready. You need to be stocking up. Food needs to be a priority. I know I've said that for years, but look at the stuff that's going on. They're still pushing all this synthetic stuff, synthetic chicken, lab-grown this, bugs this. And we're running out of food over here, you know, with shortages and stuff. You need to be stocking up on food. You need to be stocking up on seeds, the ability to preserve the foods that you grow. You need to be stocking up on your medical supplies because most of that stuff comes from China. And if we end up in a big war with them, we could see restrictions or problems in the supply chain coming from China. You need to be stocking up on the bullets and the things that you use bullets with because we're watching violence increase at a very rapid rate around the world and in this country. And the possibility of you and I having to actually take up arms to defend our homes and our communities is becoming a more real possibility. You need to be taking it serious, getting your families ready, getting your troops, your crew, your mag, your whatever you call it, your tribes ready. You need to be getting your houses in order and preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.